you can do it right here with me. Hi everyone, my name is Aastha Jain and I am a psychologist. This is my YouTube channel where we talk everything about psychology. So today we are going to talk about 7 ways in which you can immediately control and reduce your anxiety. If you suffer with anxiety and want to know ways to reduce it, please keep on watching. Now, before we jump into the ways and talk about how to reduce anxiety, one small disclaimer for all of you. The experience of anxiety is different for all, and so are the symptoms and the reasons along with the triggers for it. So, out of these 7 ways, maybe only 3 will work for you, or maybe only 5 will work for you. These are the ways and methods which usually work for most of the people. So, you will have to try and give some time trying out each technique in order to see if it works for you or not. If one or two of the methods are not working for you, you do not need to think that my anxiety is something which cannot be treated or it is never going to reduce, especially without the medications. So do not worry, these are the methods which work for some people, other methods work for some other people, and we are going to try and cover them all. So do not worry and give all of these time and try, and let's see which one of these work for you. So first of all, in order to know how to reduce anxiety and how to deal with anxiety, obviously it is very important to know what is anxiety, why do we have anxiety, what are the symptoms of anxiety. And if you want to know all of this, then please watch a video which I have made previously which talks about all of these things. I am linking this video up here. So please do watch that before you watch this video. Now let's talk about 7 very important and helpful ways in which you can actually reduce your anxiety at that moment of time. Now let's talk about the first thing, and that is to understand your anxiety. Usually the experience and the symptoms of anxiety are so scary for some people that whenever the symptoms start showing up, people start getting scared, and this turns into a cycle. So we are afraid of the anxiety, and this further inflates the anxiety and the symptoms reduce. It is very important to understand that anxiety symptoms are onset or started by the fight, flight and freeze responses which are there for our safety and evolution, and hence it is very important to understand that these symptoms are there which help us to survive. In the past also they helped us, and in the present and in the future also they are going to help us to survive. So there is nothing to be scared or nothing to think that these symptoms of anxiety are something which are abnormal. It is okay to have these symptoms. It is okay to understand why these symptoms are being caused. Maybe you have a genetic predisposition to it, maybe you have a trigger because of which the anxiety symptoms of yours are getting started, but it is possible to understand your anxiety, it is possible to understand it and hence prevent it. So the first thing that you need to do is stop being so scared of your anxiety and make friends with it. That way it is going to be less scary, and that is going to break the cycle. The second way is to actually understand your triggers. You can actually spend some time and try to understand if there are symptoms which is starting your anxiety, or your anxiety is spread and felt throughout the day. Some people experience anxiety only for 15 or 20 minutes. On the contrary, some people actually experience anxiety for most part of their day. If you are feeling anxiety for some part of your day, maybe you can try and understand some triggers. Maybe there are some thoughts because of which the anxiety is coming. Maybe it is because of seeing one or particular group of people because of which your anxiety is coming. Maybe because some situation in which you are present is actually starting your anxiety. And once you are able to identify your trigger, it will be easy for you to be prepared in that situation, because you and your mind will be knowing that okay, this has happened, or now I am this particular situation because of which my anxiety starts. And so whenever you will be in that situation, or whenever you will be with those people, you will anticipate that your anxiety symptoms are going to come up, and hence you will be able to prepare your mind and body for its experience, and hence it further becomes easy to control those symptoms and reduce those symptoms in those particular situations. So it is very important to try and understand your triggers. The third thing that you can do in order to reduce your anxiety is to do deep breathing. There is something which is known as vagal tone, which actually sends our parasympathetic nervous system the signal to calm down. And it is a part of our mind which tells our parasympathetic nervous system that the perceived danger has now gone, and now all the symptoms of anxiety, all the symptoms of fight, flight, and freeze can be resumed, and the body can be brought back to equilibrium. And hence, it is very important to start our vagal tone. And how do we start our vagal tone? One of the methods is to do deep breathing. So how you have to do deep breathing is that you have to inhale full, more likely for 4 to 5 seconds, hold it for 4 to 5 seconds again, and then exhale for slightly longer than that. So if you want, you can do it right here with me. If you pay attention, you will realize that once you are inhaling, your heartbeats is faster, but when you are exhaling, your heart starts breathing slightly slower, and that is the message of the vagal tone to the brain to calm down. And hence, if you practice deep breathing every single day, you actually start training your mind and making your vagal tone stronger, which sends a signal to our brain to calm down, to reduce the symptoms of anxiety, and to switch the fight, flight, and freeze response. And this is going to immediately reduce your anxiety. The fourth thing that you can try is mindfulness. It is something which is now becoming trendier day by day, and people claim to practice mindfulness. But are you actually practicing mindfulness? So the concept of mindfulness has obviously come from the Buddhist philosophy, and it talks about being present in the moment. And this is something which we often do not do. When we are in the office, we are thinking about home. When we are in the home, we are thinking about the office. When we are on the road, we are thinking about a relationship and whatnot. We are never usually present in the moment. When we are eating, we are scrolling on the phone. When we are talking to somebody, we are thinking about the pain in our legs and so on. And hence, we are very mindless in the activities that we do. But research has shown that if we are mindful of what we are doing and of the situation that we are in, it significantly contributes in the reduction of anxiety. Because anxiety is nothing but being worried about the future. What will happen in the future? How will my exam go? How will my meeting go? Will I be able to convince that person to do what I want to do? And so on. But when you are present in the situation, when you are actually speaking to the person who's sitting in front of you and not chatting away on the phone, then it is going to significantly contribute, and it is going to reduce your experience of anxiety. So be mindful in reality and not just for the trend. You can try to include and inculcate mindfulness through small various activities. For example, mindful eating. Now, how you do mindful eating is actually sitting alone and without your phone, and you are concentrating on the food that you are eating. Or you can simply take a raisin and you can put it in your mouth and focus how it gets dissolved in your mouth, how the taste changes with each passing second. And this is only one small activity of mindfulness. So if it is difficult for you to spend the entire day being mindful, in the start you can simply begin by inculcating 2 or 3 activities into your routine to make yourself more mindful. The fifth way in which you can reduce your anxiety is known as the grounding exercises. So there are a few grounding exercises which we are going to discuss today. So grounding basically means that whenever we are anxious, our mind is in a state of fight, flight or freeze, and it thinks that we are in some dangerous situation and we are not safe. So it fights and it strives for survival. So through the grounding exercises, we actually awaken all our senses and we tell our mind and brain that we are completely safe, that it doesn't have to fight for survival. So the first activity, which is very famously known as the grounding exercise that you can do, is that you can actually name 5 things which are around you, which you can see. So if I do it along with you right now, I can see my phone, I can see my laptop, I can see my water bottle, I can see my bag, and I can see my perfume. Now, after that, you have to touch 4 things and focus on the texture. So if you have an almirah nearby, you can touch on the woody texture and actually focus on the texture. You can touch your phone and you can focus on the glassy texture, and so on. And after that, you have to focus on 3 noises that you can hear. So if I do it right now, I can probably hear the sound of the AC, I can hear the sound of the fan, and I can hear the birds chirping outside. After that, you have to focus on 2 things that you can actually smell. So I can smell my perfume, which is right here. So it tastes fruity to me. And the second thing that I can smell around here is my face moisturizer. So it tastes of mango to me. So you have to focus on the smell of the things that you are picking up. You can also pick up a scented candle, or you can pick up any food eating item which is around you, basically anything which has a distinct smell. And the last step that you have to do is taste one thing. So you can pick up a toffee, or you can pick up a chocolate, or you can pick up a raisin and put it in your mouth and focus on the taste. So obviously you know how a raisin tastes, so how your favorite toffee or chocolate tastes, but the point is that you have to focus on the taste. You have to actually activate your sense of taste and tell your mind that all these 5 senses are working correctly, and you have perceived in your environment that you are completely safe. And this again activates our vagal tone, and the anxiety symptoms reduce then and there. Another grounding exercise which you can try to do is that make a list of all the things which are complicated. For example, you can try to name 10 Bollywood actresses, or you can try to name 10 films which stars Shah Rukh Khan maybe. So all these information is available in your mind, but it will take some time and it involves a little level of complexity, and you will have to put some mind in order to make that list. Or you can try to name 10 things in your room which are orange in color, or maybe you can try to name 10 types of plants or 10 types of fruits which you can have in summer. So anything, any information which is easily available to you, but you have to put little bit of an effort to remember those things. So make a list of any of those 10 to 15 things, and this will also try to ground down all your senses, and you will feel safe, and the symptoms of anxiety will reduce. The sixth thing that you can do to actually reduce and work on your anxiety symptoms is to reduce the intake of caffeine, alcohol, and smoking. All these things biologically actually increase the symptoms of anxiety. They increase our blood pressure, they increase our heart rate, and whatnot. And hence, sometimes, even when there is no major trigger available, because we are intaking all of these things in huge quantities, we can actually experience the symptoms of anxiety. So if you're not able to identify a trigger, and you actually feel that you are drinking too many cups of coffee or cold drink, or you are sleeping less, or you are smoking too much, or you are intaking alcohol every day, try to regulate all these things, and you will see a change in your anxiety levels. And the seventh thing that you can do is try to include one exercise. So try and indulge into at least 10 or 15 minutes of a physical exercise every day. It doesn't have to be very rigorous, or you do not have to go for gymming 1 to 1.5 hours every day. It is okay if you can't do that, but you can try to at least do brisk walking for 10 to 15 minutes, or you can try and do skipping or cycling or any sort of a light activity for at least 10 to 15 minutes each day. This will also reduce your anxiety. So these were 7 ways which can actually help you to reduce your symptoms of anxiety. I hope these things will help you. Do comment down below and let me know if these worked for you or not. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel.